Welcome to The Explainer. Look, if you've ever felt totally bogged down by the sheer weight of government procurement processes, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're zeroing in on a highly practical goal: demystifying government procurement contracts. Why? So you can save your time, cut straight through that bureaucratic red tape, and dramatically streamline your acquisitions. We're going to take these complex, sometimes intimidating contracting frameworks and break them down into clear, actionable steps. Let's get into it. So here's our roadmap for today. First up, we'll define what these strategic sourcing vehicles actually are. Next, we'll decode that heavy alphabet soup of acronyms that government training always kind of assumes you already know. Third, we're going to map out the specific procurement categories available across the DHS. And finally, we'll point you directly to the digital tools and the exact contacts you need to start using these vehicles today. All right, Section 1. What are strategic sourcing vehicles? Let's look at the big picture. Okay, looking at this definition, the absolute most important word to focus on here is pre-negotiated. Strategic sourcing vehicles, or SSVs, are structured contract vehicles, things like IDQs, BPAs, and GWACs that are utilized largely by federal agencies. Their whole purpose: to streamline procurement, consolidate your spending, and ultimately reduce costs. I mean, think about the hundreds of hours usually spent negotiating pricing, terms, conditions, the whole shebang. With these vehicles, that heavy lifting has already been done for you at an enterprise level. So your job isn't to reinvent the wheel, right? It's really just to pick the right vehicle for the drive. Moving right along to Section 2, decoding the alphabet soup. Let's open up your contracting toolbox. Let's compare a couple of the most common vehicles. First, we have Federal Supply Schedules, or FSS. You might also hear these called GSA Multiple Award Schedules. You're going to want to use these for your routine commercial goods and services. So if you need office supplies, maybe some management consulting, or just basic hardware, FSS is your answer. It leverages volume discount pricing across the entire government. Now contrast that with GWACs, or Government-Wide Acquisition Contracts. These are task order contracts specifically ring-fenced for information technology. If you're doing a massive enterprise IT hardware purchase, or maybe a complex cloud migration, or procuring cybersecurity services, you don't use an FSS. You pivot straight to a GWAC. Building on that, we have MACs, or Multi-Agency Contracts. These cover a much broader range of professional services, engineering, or logistics support, way beyond just IT. Now, let's compare MACs to IDQs. That stands for Indefinite Delivery, Indefinite Quantity Contracts. IDQs are essentially fixed-period contracts with minimum and maximum limits. They are absolutely perfect for those really large, complex, or long-term defense programs. You know, those situations where you absolutely know you're going to need support, but the exact timing or the precise quantities, they're totally unpredictable at the time of the award. You know, the phrase charge accounts honestly brilliantly describes our final vehicle: Blanket Purchase Agreements, or BPAs. If you have repetitive, localized purchases, think reoccurring software licenses or ongoing base maintenance, a BPA acts as a super simplified method to fill those needs. You aren't going out and creating a massive, complex new contract from scratch. Instead, you're essentially opening a pre-approved charge account with a vendor to keep your operations running smoothly, without all those constant administrative hurdles. It's a real game changer for saving time. Section 3. DHS Procurement Categories. Let's map out this landscape. The crucial takeaway here is just the sheer breadth of categories available to us. Strategic sourcing vehicles aren't just for buying paperclips or laptops, folks. The DHS framework covers everything from facilities and construction to human capital, industrial products, and of course, IT. But it extends all the way through to medical needs, office management, professional services, security and protection, transportation and logistics, literally even travel. Essentially, if your mission requires it, there is highly likely a pre-negotiated vehicle sitting in one of these 10 buckets just waiting for you to leverage it. All right, final section. Section 4. Access your contracting tools. It is time to take action. Take a look at this real-world example. This is the ordering guide for the Tactical Communications Equipment and Services 2 vehicle, often just called TACCOM 2. This right here is a multi-agency contract, or a MAC. Notice how it provides really clear versioning, in this case, version 9.1. These ordering guides are literally your step-by-step instruction manuals. They help you navigate the highly specific rules of that individual contract without getting totally lost in the weeds. So how do you actually get to these? Well, through the CG 913 SharePoint site, you're going to click that blue Open button to access a centralized hub. Once you're in there, you get direct contract links to specific vehicles. We're talking things like the Ocean Architect Engineer IDIQ fact sheet, the Dry Suit Ordering Guide, which, by the way, is a BPA, and resources for Level IIA ballistics body armor. It's this awesome, centralized, clickable hub completely designed to get you straight to the exact documents you need without forcing you to hunt through endless agency intranets. To actually get to that hub, you'll navigate directly to the DHS Connect homepage. Honestly, I highly recommend bookmarking this URL right now. Seriously, do it. Not only will you find all the strategic sourcing vehicles we've just discussed, but this is also the exact location where you can access the necessary paperwork for SSV waiver requests and SSV exception forms. Just in case your specific mission requirement happens to fall outside the scope of those standard pre-negotiated contracts. Of course, even with the absolute best tools at your fingertips, questions are going to pop up. If you ever get stuck navigating a particular IDIQ, or maybe you aren't totally sure if a BPA actually covers your local purchase, don't worry. Your dedicated points of contact are the fantastic members of Team 4, Sarah North, SSCO SKC Musselwhite, SKC Kang, SK1 Fallman, and Renette Rowden. Plus, you can always shoot an email to your CG, HCAPO procurement analysts for guidance. Oh, and if you spot missing vehicles or think some content needs updating, reach out to Sharntae Crown via the email provided here. Remember, you are not operating in a silo. There's an entire team dedicated to helping you successfully execute these contracts. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to carry into your work week. Take a really hard look at your current acquisition pipeline. Are you spending weeks negotiating routine purchases that could easily be handled by an FSS? Are you struggling to lock down long-term defense logistics that perfectly fit an IDIQ? Ask yourself right now, which of these pre-negotiated strategic sourcing vehicles is going to eliminate delays on your next mission? The tools are built, the prices are already negotiated, and the portals are live. It's time to put them to work. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy sourcing!